Right, this is the tail end of how I attach my solar panels to the roof of my bus. So we just attached one and worked out the process. So basically we're underneath cover, so we created this handy dandy pulley system to lift up the panels from the ground, and use some pool noodles on there so you don't scratch up the freshly painted bus. And then we put them up here, and we make sure that you have the this is the positive lead. We wanted the negative leads on the front side of the bus, so make sure that you're consistently orienting them as whatever your design is. Anyway, we brought these up here last night, and I was delighted to find out that there's a little bit of deflection in these panels because the struts they were on, they're pretty much level all the way across, but it's an imperfect world, so they were imperfect. So they just needed a little bit of deflection, like 1/4 of an inch across 80 inches, and that worked great. So I just laid this down there and clamped down the edges, and then I made these aluminum angle iron or angle brackets, angle aluminum brackets. And these are strut nuts, and this is 3/8 inch hardware with a split washer. And so basically I just loosely attached the angle with the strut and pushed up the angle right up to the edge of the panel there. And then I had pre-drilled holes for the 1/4 inch hardware that's holding the panel to it. And there's a tubing inside of this panel, so it's not just really like 1/16 of an inch aluminum. It's there's like 1/4 inch tubing. It's thin metal, but it's a tubing, and we have 10 points of contact across here, so I feel really good about how this thing is held down. So anyway, yeah, I just connected this, and I drilled through my pilot hole there and made a hole in there, and then went in the back, and these are 1.5 inches, and I just slipped this through, and then threw on a split washer and a nut and tighten it down. Not too much, because it is hollow tubing in there, so it will deflect, and we don't want to do that. And then I came back and tightened these guys down. So the first one was a little difficult because it's the edge of the bus, so I was like hanging on the transition there, which angles downward. It's a sloping pitch, so I was hanging on and trying not to slip off while I attached. So what I did was I slid the panels closer to me about 2 feet, and then because these are all pretty much parallel, and then I attached the hardware, and then I hopped over the panel without stepping on it and cracking it and crying, and then just slid everything forward and tightened it down. I did have some issues with tightening these down. The middle ones, I can't really get my hand under there, so I had to keep that side loose until I could drill and attach this 1/4 inch hardware, and then I tightened this one down. I tightened all those down, and we're in business. So we spent all day. Oh yeah, and by the way, just put some paper up here so you don't tear up your bus, your roof, and got it all the way down there. So we got 8 panels to put up there. Well, we got one down today. It took kind of half a day, 3/4 of the day, to work out the process and drill out a bunch of metal. But yeah, where the plan now is just to do the next one and the next one, and hopefully by the end of tomorrow we'll have them all up here. Oh yeah, we're also we're doing a 2 in series, 4 in parallel. So we're gonna run these lines together down to a 4-in-1 combiner. So this is 10 gauge. We'll be running down for each one, and then we have a 15 amp fuse on the end of each one, and that connects to a 4-in-1 combiner, which is rated for 50 amps. So each one of these panels is rated for a little over 10 amps. So and the fuse point, whatever, on the inside of each panel is like around 11. So the 15 amp fuse will work in case something blows, so we don't kill all of our panels. And there's an electrical cabinet somewhere like over here that we need to connect a port. What do you call these things? I can't remember. gland, port cable gland to that hole, and then yeah, at the end of the 4-in-1 combiner, we switch over to an 8-gauge wire. So you need those MC4 compatible connectors that will connect to 8-gauge wire, because your amperage at that point is going to be over 40 amps. So you don't want to fire. Anyway, that's where we're at. So that's how I connected these things, and it's extremely solid. And there was some wiggle over in these things, but it's completely gone now, and I don't know. Well, anyway, that's my story. I'm sticking to it. All right, have a good one. Bye.